Come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Make it work, come on. What is up, you guys? I'm Tiffany, and today I'm going to be talking about my April TBR. First book I want to read is Once Upon a Time, Red's Untold Tale. Now, this is the middle of April, so I've read a few of these already, which good for me. So let's get into this one. So in this book, Red is 16, and she has to help her granny save her business. She has her red cloak because her granny gave it to her when she was 13 in order to protect her from wolves. She has her crush on Peter. There's some mean girls that aren't treating her right. So Red's got a few things on her plate. And with all that, as a 16-year-old girl, she makes some questionable choices. I definitely look forward to reading this. I think it'd be pretty interesting to see how Red acts before the events of the show. The next book I want to read is Bookish and the Beast. And so this is a contemporary retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So in this book, there's this girl. She ends up messing up and she goes into this guy's house because she sees a dog and she just follows the dog. The logic is lost, but besides the point. So she goes in this house, and there happens to be this collection of these stories of Starfield, and she ends up picking up this really rare one. She falls in the pool, and she messes up the book. And the book costs a lot of money she doesn't have. So in order to pay off all that, she starts to work on the personal library, and the celebrity guy, he's quite a jerk. But over time, I'm sure they'll talk, they'll laugh, they'll have fun, they'll fall in love, there's going to be a library, all sorts of talk about books, I'm sure. So hopefully it is a good time. I love Beauty and the Beast retellings, so I hope this one is fun. The next book I want to read is It Sounded Better in My Head. So in this book, Natalie is struggling with the fact that her parents are separating after 20 years of marriage, plus they lied to her for 10 months about it. So she's pretty upset about it. Now, she has two best friends, and one of them is a guy, and she always thought that she was going to end up with him. He really was the only guy in her life, so she just figured this'll happen. But her other friend, she ends up being with this guy, so they're a couple and everything, so she has to deal with that. And she doesn't like to be the third wheel, even though she does love her friends. It's just not a good time for her. She ends up going to this party, and at this party is this guy, someone she's known for a while, that she never would have thought anything of, but she ends up seeing a different side of him, and she starts to fall for him, and so she's dealing with a lot, but I hope it is a good book. It sounds pretty good. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Also, I love this title. It Sounded Better in My Head. So true. So true. The next book I want to read is Happy, Messy, Scary Love. So in this book, there's this girl. She's really into horror movies, and there's this guy who she talks to on Reddit. She has a great time with him. They talk a lot. They make jokes. They're the same age, and she just has a fun time. Now, she knows he's in North Carolina and she's in Brooklyn, so she figures they're never going to see each other. He asks for a picture, sends his own picture. She's all insecure. She doesn't think she's pretty enough. So she ends up taking a picture of her best friend and sends that picture to him. And then she ends up having to work at this zipline place, and lo and behold, there he is. So she has to deal with all that, talk with him, act like everything's fine, that she doesn't know him at all, and it sounds fun. It sounds fun, and I love secret identities. Now, usually I see it where the guy knows the whole time versus the girl knows the whole time, so I'll see how it goes. I hope it's fun, and it just sounds so much like Alex Approximately. Unfortunately, I didn't like that one, but I really hope this one is a good one. And the next few books I want to read are part of the Hush Hush saga. Now, Hush Hush, I read the first 2 books back in 2014, 2015 time. Unfortunately, the 3rd book, I just was not into it. I was not pleased with the direction it went, so I just quit. I have Hoopla, so I got all the audiobooks, so hopefully I can get through this series. So let's start with Hush Hush. So in this book, Nora, she ends up meeting this guy, Patch, in her biology class. And the teacher, he decides, you know what, we're going to have changed seats. So she has to deal with Patch. He's all cocky and tries to mess with her all the time, and she does not like him at all. Even though she thinks he is so handsome. Man, what a surprise. I wonder what happens next. So even though she would rather not deal with him at all, she ends up talking more with Patch, and things happen, and she starts to kind of fall for him. It's been a while since I read it. Like, I know a good deal of what happens, but I'm hoping it's fun. I hope it's a good time. I really hope, that I can do all these. I really hope so. But we'll see. I mean, I could. The audiobooks aren't too long, so it's possible. But I am hoping I can do it. That'd be a really good time. The next book I want to read is You've Reached Sam. So in this book, this girl, she has this boyfriend. She really likes him, but then he dies. And so she's grieving. And one day she decides to dial his number, but he ends up picking up. And so it's this whole thing where she talks with him. She doesn't tell anyone about her connection with him. And it sounds sad. It sounds deep. I'm not a crier for books, so I don't think I'll cry. But, I just hope I enjoy my time. I hope it captivates me. We'll see. The next book I want to read is Meant to Be, If the Shoe Fits. In this book, Cindy, first off, she is supposed to be Cinderella, because this is a contemporary retelling. And so Cindy, she's a plus-size woman. It ends up being that she is on this reality dating show. So certain things happen, and she deals with some struggles, but she meets the guy there, and she actually thinks she might be into Prince Charming. And so it just sounds cute. I'm looking forward to it. It just sounds fun. The next book I want to read is The Library of Lost Things. So in this book, Darcy is a bit closed off. She doesn't really talk to people. She doesn't really let people in her life. Plus, she is dealing with her mother, and she happens to be a hoarder, so it's not going well for her. And so she reads a lot of books, but then she meets somebody, and eventually, her walls come down, and she's able to have her happily ever after, I'm sure. And it sounds cute. It sounds fun. So we'll see. Honestly, this is the synopsis I'm working on. How are you supposed to even tell anyone about this book? It's like, it is a book. That is it. It looks cute, right? That's all I can really do for you. The next book I want to read is Tweet Cute. So Pepper and Jack, they're rivals. Their families own restaurants. They are each other's competition. They don't like each other. It ends up being that her family steals from Jack's family for a recipe. So Jack tries to call her out, and it ends up being a bit of a viral Twitter war. And it just sounds really cute. I love rivals to lovers. It just sounds really fun and cute. The next book I want to read is Our Year in Love and Parties. So in this book, Tucker and Erica, they haven't talked to each other in a while. They enter each other's lives again, and their feelings reignite. It sounds fun. It might be deep. I don't really know. The next book I want to read is Shadow Frost. There's this kingdom. It's being terrorized by this beast. And the princess, she wants to help fight and kill it. So she goes on this adventure, and it ends up being there's this plot to assassinate her. I'm a little confused by the synopsis, but it sounds cool. And the last book I want to read in April is Hunted. And in this book, it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, of course. Of course I'm reading that kind of book. And in this one, so basically, the Beauty, she and her family move to a lesser known area of the kingdom. Her dad's a little nuts, and he goes missing. Beauty already knows that he's been tracking this beast, so she goes out to find and kill the beast. She ends up tracking him and sending him back to the area he's been with an enchanted castle and certain things happening. I think we all know what happens there, but it sounds like it could be more intense because, she literally wants to kill him. I don't know where the story's gonna go, but it sounds fun. So, we shall see. And that is what I want to read in April. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye!